Yes, I am very, very respectful of him having enough cover at nighttime. I may hog the covers, but there's always extra covers on the bed so that he can still stay covered up and keep warm. Hi, and welcome to A Rumor of Stitches. My name is Janice, and you can find me on Instagram as KillerQueen2485 and on Facebook and YouTube as A Rumor of Stitches. Welcome to everybody who is returning, and welcome to any new viewers. If you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want notifications for upcoming videos. I have a lot of different things planned for this channel. Right now I'm doing sewing and quilting, but I'm also going to be doing knitting, tatting, crocheting, all kinds of handcrafts, and just normal everyday stuff. So today we're going to be talking about the quilt tops that I have finished. I have a lot of quilt tops finished. The first one I'm going to talk about today is this one. It is a Jelly Roll Race quilt, and you've probably seen videos about the Jelly Roll Race quilts. I'm not going to go into how to make them and all that because there's plenty of videos on that out there on the web. I'm just going to show you this completed, and this is folded in half, but this quilt top is completed, and I'm going to put a border on it and quilt it, and this is going to be put on my bed. This is fabric that I got from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I'll put on screen or in a picture of what kind of fabric it is. I made this all out of 2.5 inch strips. And it's just, I love it. I love it. I'm going to back it in a black fabric that has bubbles on it as well. This is going to be the back just because it is a more muted version of the bubble fabrics. And I have a lot more bubbles left over. They're not from the same line of fabric, but these I picked up at Joann's. These are keepsake calico. And when I made that quilt, I'm like, I really, really want to put borders around it, but I didn't want to buy yardage of that fabric because it takes 2 weeks to come in, which in hindsight, I finished in January. I would have totally had enough time for the fabric to come in. But I went to Joann's and I got this fabric, which is a darker contrast because it is bubbles on black. Then I saw this fabric, which was bubbles on white. There is a bright version and a medium version of that one. And then I found this fabric that has bubbles on it as well. So do you see a theme here? And then I got this fabric with more bubbles and even more bubbles. So I have enough fabric for 2 more quilts that have bubbles on it. But I'm going to take a couple of these, put a border around that quilt top there, and finish that quilt top and put that one on my bed. Yeah. The next quilt top I have, it has a story behind it. So I used to work at Joann's Fabrics and Crafts. When I graduated from college with my bachelor's degree, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to go into business, and I didn't find anything for about 6 months after I got my degree because I didn't have any experience and I really didn't know what I was looking for. And there was a job fair that said, you know, Joann Fabrics and Crafts are hiring. So I thought I would go and get a job there just to start out because I'd never had a job before. And I was older. I was already 39, 40 when I got my first out of the house job because I was a homemaker, a mother, a housewife, and I just took care of the house for a long time until my children were up and in school. So when I got a job at Joann's, I was the education coordinator. I had a background in sewing and home economics, and then on the business side, I could run the education department. So I was a good fit for that department. And one of the things that I had to do was find teachers to teach the classes. Well, it takes time when a new store opens up. We actually built the store in South Haven, Mississippi from nothing. It was an empty store that had been deserted from World Market. And they came in, fixed the store up, and when we walked in, there was nothing but boxes sitting in the middle of the store. We built all the shelves. We did everything, and that was, building a store from scratch was really, really fun. It is manual labor, and that's not what I signed up for, but I love it. I love putting things together, and it was the best thing in the world to say that I built that store from the floor up. So back to the education department. My job was to hire teachers to teach the classes, but it was really hard starting out. So one of the things I did is I taught sewing 101, and I taught quilting 101. And by the end of my stay there, I had taught just about every class that there was except painting, flower arrangement, and Wilton cake decorating. I did get certified in Wilton cake decorating, but it was a conflict of interest to work for Joann's and Wilton because the cake decorators at that time, I don't know how they work now. Like I said in an earlier video, I think it's been 7 years since I worked there. I did work there for quite a while. It was a conflict of interest to work for Wilton and Joann's because Wilton paid their own people to teach cake decorating, and even though I was certified in Wilton cake decorating, I went through the class and got the certification and everything that I needed. It was a conflict of interest, so I would rather work for Joann's than work for Wilton because I got paid more, basically. And when I was teaching one of the classes that I taught was Quilting 101. Well, you had to make up your samples for the sample board to show the students what they were making. And the very first quilt block that I made for the sample board was this one. I mean, the exact prints, the exact color combinations, the exact fabric. And this is called Hole in the Barn Door. It's a takeoff of the churn dash, but I loved it. It is ladybugs on leaves, and then in the corner you can see butterflies, and then a beautiful forest green. I said on an earlier video that my favorite color was purple, but before purple it was this color green. I had my whole house decorated in this color green. It's really hard to find purple for decorating in a house that it has guys in it, because I do live with my husband and my son and they don't want everything purple. But green pleases everybody, and it's a calming color and it's so nice. But this is my next one that I need to back. It is big enough for my queen size bed. Again, I make them king size so that they have enough hangover on the side that I can roll up, and my husband still has enough. Yes, I am very, very respectful of him having enough cover at nighttime. I may hog the covers, but there's always extra covers on the bed so that he can still stay covered up and keep warm. He does say I'm a cover hog, so when I make new quilts, I make sure that there is enough to cover it. But I've got this, and this is going to be back in a green. So this is going to be the front, this is going to be the back, and the binding, and I think that's going to work out just fine. So I got that one. That one's all planned out. Then I have a lot of strip jelly roll race quilts that I have all these fabrics, and I wanted to put them all together, but not like in blocks or anything. So this is just the easiest way for me to do it. And I get something that's beautiful and something that I love to look at. Now this is one of them. I have two that are exactly the same. Now these are more of the throw size. We have recliners in the living room, so I made these just to put over us in the living room. And when they get finished, I will put up pictures on Instagram or on Facebook, or I may make a video just of the finished quilts where they're laid out on the bed so you can see what they fully look like, because it's kind of hard to show what the whole quilt looks like on this little tiny screen. But these are the fabrics that are on this one. So there's two of these, and they are just cut apart. They were made from the same piece of fabric, and when I got done, I just halved the fabric and made two of them. So that's two of, so that's two, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. Then the next one I have, this is for a queen size bed as well. This one, these are the fabrics that are in this one. And this has a little bit brighter of fabrics where you can see, let's see, this has some pansies in it down here, the orange here, and then some tropical flowers here. And yeah, you can see the pansies and some tropical flowers here. But a lot of it is just purple and blues. I think that pop of orange just is great for those. And a lot of these fabrics have butterflies and dragonflies on them, so it's kind of like a tropical quilt, but still very big and very eclectic, and all of these colors just work so well together, and it's going to make just a cozy, comfy quilt. And on this fabric, on this quilt itself, I got just purple backing for that one. The two little ones are probably, to be honest with you, I'm just probably gonna pick out something over here. Maybe probably not one of these, probably maybe something like this out of the blue section, and just put a backing from some of the extra quilt fabric that I have. I got a lot of fabric, so I can piece together a quilt back without having to go anywhere and buy any new fabric if I want to. And then my last one that I have finished completely already, by the time this video is out, I will probably have the Lady of the Lake finished, and probably a couple of more of the strip piece quilts finished, which when I get those finished, I'll put them up too. Let's see, this is the last one, and this has fabric from the other two. To be honest with you, I had made this one first, and I used so many pieces from each quilt fabric that I cut up. I cut a lot of quilt fabric up into 2.5-inch strips, laid them out on the table, and then just started sewing them together. And when I ran out of a unique piece, then I stopped, and that was one quilt. I would maybe have 20-25 pieces of each color, but if I ran out of one of the colors at, say, color 15, at the 15th repetition, I'd stop. And then the next time I would make a quilt, I would start there and then add to the strips. And that's how I came out with quilts like this that have all the fabrics, with some unique ones like this red oil slick fabric. I don't think it's in either of the other two. And this green leaf fabric, I don't think it's any of the other two. And some of the batiks, like this one here, I don't think it's in the other two either. But you'll see the tropical fabrics, the peacock fabrics, the dragonfly fabrics, the pansy fabrics, they're in the other two. So this one is the largest one. I do know the dimensions of this one right offhand. It's 118 by 118. So I will get the largest quilt batting. I think they make the largest one. It's either 108 or 118. And then I will quilt it, and then whatever I don't have quilt batting in, I'll just take and trim those edges off and use it for something else. But this is as big as I could get and still be able to find a quilt batting close to it. This one itself, I will probably put a white backing on just so I could put enough panels, because I'm gonna have to at least have 3. Each panel of normal size fabric is 42 to 44 inches. So if I have 40 inches, 4, 8, 12, it's gonna be 120 inches. So I can cover the back of the quilt with 3 panels. 3 panels. So it's gonna take 3.5, probably 10 yards of fabric. And I buy my fabric in 10-yard bolts for black and white anyway. So it'll probably take a whole bolt of fabric to cover the back of this quilt. But when it's finished, I'll lay it out on my bed and I will shoot a picture of that one as well. All right, well, that's all the quilt tops that I have finished at the moment. I will be making a video about how I make my quilt sandwich with the backing, the batting, and the quilt top. I live in a small apartment and I do it all on the tabletop. So I'll put a video up about that later when I actually get one going. I've got to sew the backing fabric together. None of the fabric I have is the 118 or the 108 wide. I always just take fabric and just sew it together for the backs. And when I get all that finished and I get ready to quilt it, I will show you how I put it all together. All right, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want to follow along. All right, thanks. Have a good day and come back and see me. Bye.